What gear did we actually use to make this record? I'm Andrew Colyer from Circuline, and this is the gear behind the music.
Hey, this is Andrew Colyer from Circuline, and for this gear behind the music video, I want to talk about Roland and my Roland Axe Edge. The Roland Axe Edge. I have been a Roland artist since 1990. The first keyboard I ever bought was a Roland RD300S 88 key weighted action keyboard in 1990. The next keyboard I bought was a Roland JX1. The first or second sound module I ever bought was a Roland Sound Canvas. The first drum machine I ever bought was a Boss DR660 Dr. Rhythm drum machine. And in 1999, I used those four Roland products and a Steinway upright grand piano and one other sound module, actually, that Kawai K4R rack mount, to make my first album, which was called Gift to Gaia. It sold about 3,000 copies in Japan, and I got to tour Japan with the artist. That music was specifically made to go with his artwork. So you can check that out on the Gift to Gaia album. So over the years, Circuline has always used Roland products. Darin Brannon will be talking about the Octapad and the Pad 8 that he uses. We've used Roland digital drums. I love being a Roland artist. Thank you so much, Igor Len, the Roland artist relations guy, for hooking me up with this. I originally got this to do the Robert Berry 3.2 band North American tour. That tour lasted from 2019 through 2022, and I was lucky enough to get to play this thing every night on tour, and it's fantastic. The sounds on this thing are great. The action it's like butter. The action is awesome. It feels fantastic. The onboard sounds are super. It's got MIDI output. I was playing with Robert. I would use a Line 6 wireless audio coming out of the left audio jack. For this Circuline album, I used this for the solo on the song Transmission Error, and I used it for a solo on another song. What's super cool is, while you're playing, it's also got a lot of expressiveness. It's got like a ribbon slider here, and then it's kind of got a built-in kind of mod wheel, except it's not a wheel, but you can do a slide, like a pitch bend, and then there you go. Like a guitar player would do with the string, I can kind of slide and then slide into some modulation at the same time. These buttons here are octave buttons to go up and down different octaves. If I've got 49 keys, and so if I need more notes on the top or the bottom, I can just hit the octave button right there to go up or down different octaves. If you're wondering about the paint job, because of course it doesn't come like this, there's a local artist here in Kingston, New York, who did a really beautiful job painting this thing, because I wanted my own custom thing, so it would be an instrument that no one else in the world would have. So I'm very grateful for that. So I suggest that you get your own and you paint it yourself or have somebody else paint it for you. Roland, fantastic company. I'm proud to be a Roland artist. Use the Axe Edge for this record, and I'll be using it much more in the future with some other cool Roland products. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next segment.
Hi, this is Darin from Circuline. I'm talking to you in our studio about some of the stuff that we used in our third record. One company that we're kind of, or at least I'm kind of partial to, and I've been using quite a bit, is Roland. And one of those items is the Pad 8. Here's the first one. This was used on our tours and live for quite a while, and I believe it was used on our second record. We had to kind of upgrade and get a new one, so we ended up doing this, and I really kind of count on Roland products to give me what I want, not only for keyboards but for drums and drum triggering. This was able to get me to do some of the timpani and vibe parts that's very integral to the drumming that I like to do. So thumbs up to Roland. Thank you.
Blue microphone. That was in the shadow. We'll put it in the light.
Am I blue? Am I blue?
Also a very good album by Joni Mitchell.
Hello, this is Shelby from Circuline, and on this episode of Gear Behind the Music, I'm going to talk a bit about my desk and the setup that I've got going on here at my home studio where I recorded the bass for C.O.R.E. I hit a key and the sound is straight in because it's just hardwire patched into the back of this. It's been pretty reliable, it's been pretty good. But I do have a limited amount of, like, at the time when I got this, I/O was great, the amount of I/O options was great, but I wanted to expand it by adding more mic preamp options. So underneath, we've got this absolutely magical Universal Audio 710D set of pre's. So this is the 4 710D mic preamp set, which is 4 mic preamps, and each of them have this cool knob in the middle which allows you to blend between going via a transformer or going via a tube circuit, which is really nice. So I actually used this for a little bit of the bass recording on the C.O.R.E. album, and anytime I wanted to drive the album just that bit more through a bit of tube circuitry, I would run it into one of these high Z, high impedance inputs, and I would crank it all the way to tube, and then I'd crank the gain up, and then I'd level it down to compensate for the volume spike in the gain. So the gain is the amount of signal going into the tube, and then the level is the amount of signal coming out into the converters, into Logic. Yeah, it's magical. Love this. Fantastic. And I get 4 of them. I get 4 of these channels. I use these for vocal recordings as well. Anytime I'm recording vocals for my own stuff or for Kairos. The reason for that is because each of these has a built-in 1176 type compressor. And you can see the knobs, it's the little switches here. And they've got 3 states to them. You can have it off, or you can set it to slow compression or fast compression. So that's all the options you get. Very limiting, but it's all you need if you just want to dial it in. Fixed ratio, and then fixed settings between fast and slow in terms of attack and release. But it works, it does the job, it's an amazing piece of kit. Under this, I haven't actually got this hooked up at the moment, but it's here as a placeholder until I get it moved to another place, which I cannot go into detail right now. This is an SSL type bus compressor, which is made by IGS. So it's very much modelled on the, hence why it's called the S-type compressor. It's modelled on the old SSL-G bus compressor. Here's a cool little keyboard that I made a few years ago. So I built this keyboard out of a kit, a series of kits. You can go onto AliExpress and you can type in like custom mechanical keyboards, and you can get these basic kits that come with like these metal housings and like the circuit board PCBs inside. But then you source your own switches and keycaps. So underneath all these keycaps is a series of switches that I chose, and I hand lubricated each one. And then I chose these individual keycaps, which you can see is like the reason why some of them are a little bit mismatched. Like this enter key here, you can't really see it on camera, but it's slightly mismatched to the rest of the keyboard because I wanted this enter key to be specifically this shape, which is the larger UK style enter key rather than the flat rectangular enter key that you find in some parts of the world. Anyways, yeah, this is a keyboard that I daily drive, and I love this thing, and it's lovely. Not much else to talk about. I thought I'd mention it because I built this thing, and it's great, and it feels really nice.
Hello Circuline fans. So this is another guitar that I used on the album. I used this on the track Third Rail, and this is quite an old now Line 6 Variax guitar. The Variax guitar was one of the first guitars to come out that featured modelled sounds, so based on different guitars, including acoustic guitars and electric guitars. So if you look at this, you'll notice there are no pickups on the guitar. So all the sounds are not generated by pickup, whatever pickups you've got on there, but it's generated by kind of this modelling technology. And on the floor here is actually the brains where the modelling takes place in this particular small box here. I think on later Variax guitars everything is built inside the guitar. I used this on the sitar sound. One of the sounds that this can do is a really nice electric sitar sound.
So you've probably heard that kind of sound on tracks by Yes. Steve Howe has used the sound, except he used an actual sitar, electric sitar guitar, which has a sitar bridge which gives that sound. But this is all done electronically on the Variacs. So it's got an interesting provenance, this guitar. It was given to me probably about a year and a half ago by my good friend Nick Beggs, who you'll know from playing with Steve Hackett and Kajagoogoo and Steve Wilson, many others. And he was in my band Iona for 4 years as well. So he bought this actually to use when he was playing with Steve Hackett. And as well as playing bass with Steve Hackett, he had to cover some of the 12-string acoustic sounds. So he used, like on this, there's a selector switch, so you can go to acoustic sounds. I've got it going through an electric guitar model at the moment.
Pumpkin really wants to join in today. He's just okay. Yeah, so I had to think about that for a second. Yeah, lovely bit of kit. I'm not going to go into that because I didn't use it. And then here's a stylophone, metronome, a little controlled surface thing. Don't really know what else to talk about. That's kind of it for the desk.
It was quite convincing electric guitar. Sorry. Right.
And the political party of my heart.